sorry to ask you this pointed question, but how long is too long? How, you know, to leave your dogs, is there a magic number, or does it depend on the dog? Does it depend on their lifestyle? I'm sure it's not as easy to put a number on it, but
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
if you're working 8-9 hours a day,
it's too long, really, isn't it? I mean, there are
yeah,
guidelines, there are animal welfare guidelines on that, but they are guidelines. If you look up, I would, advise anyone to go and look up the five freedoms, the animal welfare act, and how, and you can find it anywhere on the internet. The RSPCA website will tell you what your dogs, or what all animals have a right to, and a right to normal social behavior, a right to shelter, a right to, those kinds of things. So if you think a normal social species is being denied that for 9 hours a day, that is not good for their welfare under any circumstances. But whether if you've got a very young dog, obviously you want them to be out, you want to be educating them regularly, then you don't want to be leaving a young dog for hours on end, because it's not, they will just be shut away from society. Whereas if you've got an older dog that they're fine with it, they have a very busy life the rest of the time, you might make that decision on the basis of their welfare. And that's what we've got to look at, because this is always a fine line between what we have to do as working people, and what we can provide for our dogs. And I would say that if you get to a point where you're thinking, no, I'm going to be leaving them regularly for 3 or 4 hour stints several times a day, that is no life for them. And we either need to provide care for them, which is a bit tricky at the moment because we don't have the daycare and the dog walking, but generally you would have that. Or perhaps a dog is not the right pet for you, because it isn't about us, it's about us and them.
Yeah. Why do you want to have a dog? I want to have a dog because I want one. Maybe that's not that's the common answer to that question, but maybe it's not the right answer.
Well, they aren't robots, we don't just switch them off when we go out the door. I mean, to us, that's what it feels like, unless you've got a camera watching them. But that's not what happens to them. So their experiences obviously are going to vary depending on the kind of animal that they are, what sort of character that they have. But in general terms, to be left with nothing to do for hours and hours and hours, there's only so many hours you can sleep in a day. So it's not right for them. So I would always caution anyone to seek help with that. If you've got a dog that you are now thinking, oh my goodness, try and find someone in your bubble at the moment, or somebody who can actually help you with caring for them if you're struggling, because it's very important for everyone. You feel better and they feel better, and you don't get problems further down the line.